This video is for you if you're the most reliable person on your team, the safe pair of hands, the one everyone always counts on. But what if that's the very thing stopping you from getting the promotion you deserve? It sounds crazy, right? We're all taught that being dependable is how you build trust and get noticed. I thought so too, but I learned the hard way that my killer work ethic wasn't seen as ambition. It was mistaken for my consent to stay exactly where I was. This video is for you if you've ever been the one who cleans up every mess, that never misses a deadline, and can't stop saying yes, then this one's for you. This is for all the recovering perfectionists. For the first 5 years of my design career, my entire professional brand was built on one word: reliable. I was the guy you called at 5 p.m. on a Friday when a huge client presentation for Monday morning had just exploded. I was the one who would patiently dig through a messy server to find a file someone else lost. I never missed a deadline, even if it meant my weekends were shot. I took pride in it. My performance reviews are always glowing. Consistent, trustworthy, rock solid, that was my brand. And I thought that brand was my ticket to the top. Then a senior designer role opened up. It felt like it was made for me. For the last year, I'd pretty much been doing half the job anyway, just without the title, a classic case of quiet promotion. I was mentoring junior designers, I was the main contact for our most demanding clients, and I was the one the director trusted most to handle the really hairy, multi-stage projects. I was by all accounts the obvious choice. I was so confident I wasn't even nervous. I put in the hours and I'd earned it. A week later, my director called me into her office. I walked in expecting a high five and congratulations, but instead she told me they'd hired someone externally, and I was just left completely stunned. I asked her what had happened, what was I missing? Her answer has stuck with me ever since. She said, "Look, you're the most reliable person on this team, you're the engine that keeps the whole department running, and honestly, we can't afford to lose you in your current role." This was a complete gut punch. I wasn't being promoted because I was too good at my job. I wasn't seen as a future leader. I was seen as the ultimate irreplaceable doer. They didn't hire the other person because they were better at the job. They hired them because they were more dispensable in their old role. And this is the kicker, because they were seen more as a dynamic, go-getter personality. They were the one pitching wild ideas, challenging how things were done, the one who wasn't afraid to be the squeaky wheel. And I was the opposite. I was the quiet, compliant one, the safe pair of hands, and I was being punished for it. I realised my reliability wasn't a stepping stone, it was a cage. I had made myself so valuable right where I was that it locked the door to anywhere else. My story isn't a one-off. This happens to creatives all the time, and it's called the reliability trap. It's a nasty double-edged sword. You're valued, but you're also seen as too essential in your day-to-day role to ever be considered for a more strategic one. You're just stuck. And here's the psychology behind it. First off, there's a basic conflict between being reliable and being innovative. Reliability is all about minimizing risk, dodging errors, and getting predictable results. It's about stability. But real creativity, the kind that leads to breakthroughs and gets you noticed for leadership, thrives on the exact opposite. It thrives on experiments, on exploring the unknown, and on willingness to be wrong. The famous creative expert Sir Ken Robinson said it best: if you're not prepared to be wrong, you'll never come up with anything original. When your entire brand is reliability, you're quietly telling everyone you're not a risk taker. You're the person who executes proven ideas flawlessly, not the person who dreams up unproven ones. There's a huge gap between what companies say they want and what they do. Job descriptions and mission statements all praise reliability. But when promotion time rolls around, they reward innovation and vision. They need people to keep the lights on, but they promote the people who are designing the new building. The problem is, if you spend all your time proving you're an amazing electrician, they'll never see you as an architect. Your success at being a doer completely overshadows your potential as a leader. This leads right into the quiet promotion, where you're handed more and more responsibility without a new title or pay bump, simply because they trust you to handle it. It feels like you're making progress, but it's a trap. You're doing senior level work for junior level pay. all while making yourself even more indispensable and therefore even less promotable. You're being rewarded for your competence with more work, not with opportunity. So how do you break out of this cycle without suddenly becoming the person who drops every ball? It's not about being less reliable, it's about strategically rebranding yourself from a dependable doer to a visionary leader. It's about balancing your consistency with smart, calculated moments of boldness. Here are 4 concrete things you can do today. First, start taking good risks. You have to stop seeing risk as the enemy and start seeing it as the key ingredient for your growth. This doesn't mean you should get reckless, it means taking good risks. A good risk is speaking up in meetings to challenge an old assumption. It's pitching an ambitious idea that may be only 70% baked. It's volunteering for a project outside your comfort zone to show your range. You need to shift from being the person who just solves problems to the person who finds new opportunities. Start small, set aside maybe 10% of your time for blue sky thinking or a passion project that pushes the envelope of your current role. Shift from solving problems to finding opportunities. Second, learn to say no strategically. This is the hardest one for us reliable types. You've built your whole reputation on saying yes, but every time you say yes to a low impact task that someone else could handle, you're saying no to a high impact strategic project. You have to give yourself permission to set boundaries. This doesn't sound like, no, I won't do that. It sounds like, I can't take that on right now because I'm focused on this high impact project. Maybe a specific colleague has the bandwidth to do it. This frames your no not as refusal, but as a strategic choice to prioritizing more valuable work. It shows you're thinking like a leader. Third, make your ambition visible. Being reliable is usually a quiet gig. You put your head down, you do great work, and you assume it will speak for itself, and it won't. You have to be your own biggest advocate. Schedule a meeting with your manager specifically to talk about your career path. Don't wait for your annual review. Tell them you want to be a leader. Ask them, what skills and experiences do I need to gain in the next 6 months to be a real contender for a leadership role? By doing this, you're explicitly changing their perception of you. You're telling them you aren't content to be a reliable doer forever. You have a vision and you're inviting them to be a part of it. And fourth, start leading before you have the title. You feel like you can't get leadership experience if no one gives you a chance, right? Well, wrong. You can create your own leadership experience. Mentor a junior team member, not just by helping with their tasks, but by guiding their career. Start a knowledge sharing group in your department like a weekly inspiration Slack channel or a lunch and learn series. When you see a broken process, don't just complain about it. Draft a proposal for how to fix it and present it. Leadership isn't a title, it's a set of actions. Start taking those actions now and people will start to see you as a leader that you want to become. Leadership isn't a title, it's a set of actions. Start taking those actions now and people will start to see you as leader you want to become. Look, being reliable is an honourable and valuable trait. That's not what I'm saying. It's the foundation of any great career, but it can't be the whole house. For years, I thought my value came from being the person who could always be counted on to fix things. And I was wrong. My true value, your true value as a creative, comes from the ability to build things, to build new ideas, new strategies, and the future of your team. It takes real effort to stop being seen as the person who just keeps things running and start being seen as the person who helps others level up. Your creative career deserves more than just being the safe pair of hands. It deserves to be bold, innovative, and recognized. So give yourself permission to be more than just reliable. Give yourself permission to be remarkable. Thank you so much for watching. If this resonated with you, please hit that subscribe button for more advice on how to navigate and thrive in your creative career. And check out this next video on how to change your career trajectory in 6 months. See you in the next one.